When I first got started with building automations inside ActiveCampaign a couple of years ago, I basically just tried to guess which emails, which subject lines, and which strategies would work best to convert leads into customers. But I quickly figured out that unless you have some kind of crystal ball, it's really hard, or maybe even impossible, to predict what is really working. And that is why you need to be A/B testing your automation so that you can really figure out what really works for your business. So in this tutorial, I want to show you how you can use the split feature to A/B test your automations, and I also want to show you an alternative to that in case you don't have access to the split feature because you're maybe on one of the lower plans. So let's just dive right in and then I'll explain how it works. So over here you see an automation with a really simple A/B test. So over here, we just want to figure out which email is getting the most open. So both of these emails are exactly the same, they just have a different subject line. So some people we want to send version A, some people we want to send version B. So to do that, what we can do is we can use the split feature inside ActiveCampaign, and the split feature allows you to create a path A and a path B, and then you can evenly distribute people in them. And then what you could also do, which is really cool, is that you can say, okay, I want to split until 300 contacts have been split in total. And then I want the automation to choose a winner based on the condition that you set. So for example, here I have a condition that says, okay, has opened email A or has opened email B. So then based on that, after those 300 contacts have been split, it will choose a winner. And then from that moment on, all the contacts will go through the winning path. So what I want to do is I just want to create this from scratch. Then you can see exactly how it works, and then I can also explain everything that is possible inside the split feature. So you just go over here to the plus inside the new automation, or maybe an existing automation where you want to do an A/B test. Then you go to conditions and workflow, and then you go over to split. So if you're inside ActiveCampaign now and you cannot find the split feature, then you probably don't have access to it. Then stick around until later in the video where I will show you a cool workaround that you could use to still do A/B testing. So if you have it, cool, then we're going to do this. You're just going to click split, and then it will ask us, how do you want to split these contacts? Do you want to do an even split, or do you want to do a conditional split? So a conditional split will just send everyone through path A until the conditions that you set here are met. So for example, when 300 total contacts have been set to path A, or until a certain date. And then after that, it will send everyone to path B. So this is not what we're going to need. We're going to need an even split. This is what we're going to need for A/B testing, because an even split, it will just distribute all the contacts that go inside the automation evenly. Now then it will ask us, when should the split test conclude? So when should the split test end? Do you never want it to end? Do you just want it to split indefinitely? So split and split and split forever? Or do you want to split until 300 total contacts have been split, or until a certain date? So if you set it to never, split indefinitely, you would have to go back to the automation to figure out which path is performing best. So I really like to do that. I have the feeling it gives you a little bit more control, but I also really like this one, that you just say, okay, I want to split 300 or maybe 1,000 total contacts. And then I want the automation to choose a winning path. So this is really cool with this one. So here you see that it also disappears. But if we split a certain amount of contacts, we can automatically choose a winner. And what you can do there is that you can set some conditions. So you can set conditions, and then which path has the most matched conditions basically that you set over here, that path will win. So if you would have this one, for example, where we just want to check two different emails, which one has the most opens, then to specify conditions, what we would do is we would just say, okay, here has opened, and then you select the email. So for example, here email A, or has opened email B. And over here inside this split conditions editor, you can really set so many things. You could, for example, also choose a winning path based on how many people became a customer. So you could just check how many people maybe have a customer tag, or how many people are inside a customer list, or if they bought a specific product, or if they maybe visited a certain page on your website. There's really lots of possibilities inside this split conditions editor. So really try to figure that out. It's like really lots of cool things in there. So then this is the split test that we have set up so far. So we have our split test, so it will be evenly distributing everyone into the A path or the B path until 1,000 total contacts have been split. And then after those 1,000 contacts, the automation will choose a winning path based on the conditions that we have set over here. So in this case, how many people have opened email A or email B. Another thing that you could also do, instead of just a total contacts, you could also say until 1,000 total contacts have completed the goal. And then the goal is also the condition that you set over here. So instead of 1,000 contacts going through, you could also say, okay, after 1,000 email opens, I want this to conclude. So it's like slightly different. So really there's so many cool things possible in here. So this is just a simple example where you're A/B testing email opens. I would also definitely recommend to do that because that's pretty cool, but you could also optimize for link clicks inside emails, or just imagine you're doing a promotion and then you maybe have two different versions of that promotion. One kind of promotion where you're really hard selling your product, and then maybe one promotion that is more storytelling and more soft selling your product. So then you can also A/B test that and then automatically conclude a winner so that the next people will go into that promotion will go through the promotion that is working best. Or maybe you're doing an email course and then you have an email course with really long form content, so like really long emails, or maybe you have a different path that is a bit shorter, or even maybe with some videos, and then you can choose a winner based on that. So really lots of cool things possible with the split feature. I'm very happy with this, that it is inside ActiveCampaign. One thing that I'm not so happy with is that the split feature is only available on the professional plan inside ActiveCampaign. And I know that most people are using the light plan or the plus plan, so I'm a bit sad that not everyone can use that. So that's why I came up with a cool workaround, so that even when you're using the light plan or the plus plan, you can still do A/B testing inside your automations. So let me show you what I asked a friend of mine to create. So this is completely created by Michel Rietveld. He's like a wizard with programming. Like you guys probably know, I'm not a programmer. So I asked him for help. So huge shout out to Michel, thanks for helping. And yeah, what this script is basically doing, it is going to set a custom field that we're going to create in a bit to either an A or a B. So pretty simple. And then inside that automation, we're going to check with an if else what the value of that custom field is, whether it's an A or a B. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to upload this script. And by the way, I will put a link to this script in the description below this video so that you can just import it and upload it. So go over to your web host and then upload it. So I'm going to here choose file, and then I'll just upload split.php. And then I'm going back because it's uploaded. And then we have the file over here. And then what we need to do is we need to enter our developer details in that. So you need to edit it. And we need to add our username and our API key over here. So let me show you where you can find that. So you have to go over to your settings. And then you just go over to developer. And then over here, you see your username. So you have this, so not the whole URL, just here your username. So you can also find it here in the URL. So then we go over to the file, and then I just paste that in there. And then we also need this key. So you just copy this key, and then we just paste that in there, and then we click save. So everything else is already figured out. Michel made that so that you don't have to do anything else. The only thing that we have to do is we have to create this custom field, which is called split path. So let's do that. Let's go over to forms, and then we go to manage fields, and then we're going over here to add field, and then we just name this split path. So it's very important that it has this exact name, otherwise it's not going to work. So call it split path, and then assign a group if you want to. I have here an others group, so that's just to organize your custom fields. And the field type should be set to drop down. And then we have version A, and we have option B. And then we just remove the third option, and then we're going to click add. So then here it says, okay, custom field split path has been created. So now what we need to do is we need to go over to our automation, so this one. So now instead of the split feature, we're going to use the if else. So here is an if else, and then we're just going to check the value of our split path custom field. So split path is A, add. So then you see here that if the split path is A, we go to yes. If it is not A, it is going to be B. So then we have the no path. So then what I do is I drag this email over here, move single action, and email B I will drag over here. And then I'm just going to remove our split. So here I say remove all parts. And then I'm going to click OK. And then over here, I will just end the automation, and then we only need to trigger the script so that the script can update the custom field automatically. So to do that, we're going to use a webhook. So here you say webhook, and then you need to put in the URL of the script that you just uploaded. So in my case, that is maxvanco/scripts/ what did I name it? /split.php, and then I'm going to click save. Then you have to make sure that your automation is set to active. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a contact inside the automation so that we can really make sure that everything is working well. So here we have Benny Doe, and Benny Doe we will add to our automation over here called split testing 1, and then we say OK. And then what we're going to do is we're going to refresh this page. And then you see down here, split path, the value is B. So every time the script will be triggered, so this URL, every time it will set it to A or B randomly. And then with the if else, you can also just do a split test. So it's like a little workaround. It doesn't have every feature that the split function has. You cannot automatically choose a winner. So basically like this, it will split indefinitely, but I think this is still really cool. And then you just have to go into your automation to figure out which path is really working best. So the yes path in this case is basically the A path, and the no path is the B path. Because again, inside this if else, we check if the split path is A. So if it is A, then yes. If it is not A, it will be B, and then the person goes to no. So you also see if we over here, if we go over in this automation, then we go here to view, then you can also see what happened, which path that contact took. So you see over here, okay, the script was successfully triggered. Does the contact match the following conditions? Split path is A. No, because it was B, so then email B will be sent. So this is basically how you can A/B test your automation so that you can really figure out what is working best. So you can either do like small parts of your automations that you just A/B test certain emails, which one get the most engagement, or you can just A/B test whole paths, like that you have a promotion, like I said earlier, that is really hard selling, or one promotion that's more about storytelling and it's selling a bit softer. So I hope this was helpful. And again, I will also put the script that Michel created in the description below so that you can just download it and upload it in case you don't have access to the split feature. So if you have any questions about this, just let me know in the comments below. I will try to help you as best as I can.